TGCRequiem, we're back with our fourth match in the league here with Modern Abzan Traverse. Things are going poorly for us. Maybe a few misplays, but also some bad variants against us. It's just a part of the game. I think on the play this is okay. This is fine to keep. The Abrupt Decay is kind of dead at the moment, but you know, even just Bauble, Fetchland, and a Tarmogoyf, yeah, it's going to get Tarmogoyf outside of like Bolt range, even though Bolt's not very popular right now, but we should draw into some other stuff, so the curve on this deck is pretty low. I think I'm comfortable keeping this. Want to win a couple matches here to close this league out, get some of our points back. There's really no reason not to play the Catacombs here. Just going to bauble ourselves, take a peek, Lingering Souls. We actually don't want Lingering Souls, I don't believe, at the moment. We'd rather draw a land. So we're going to go ahead and just crack this Catacombs now. And just make sure that we don't draw Lingering Souls. Traverse is a good draw. Or a fair draw. We can still cast Tarmogoyf next turn, use Traverse to go get a Swamp the following turn. Looks like we're playing Ad Nauseum. This is really just a bizarre set of decks to be playing. Just stuff that I have not been playing much against lately. Well, that's pretty awesome. So I think, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and jam our Tarmogoyf here. In pretty good shape with Abrupt Decay for their Phyrexian on life whenever they get to that. Next turn we can cast Traverse and go get a Swamp, which will allow us to cast Liliana the following turn, but still hold up Abrupt Decay during our opponent's turn that they might play a Phyrexian on life. So our opponent put both cards on the bottom with their Serum Visions, which plays into our favor. Pentad Prism. We could go after that with the Abrupt Decay, but I don't think we really want to. Although, yeah, we already have an artifact. Black Mana Source just allows us to slam right into Lily. That is also good. Yeah, so I think we're good. They hadn't run any Lotus Blooms. So we're just going to go ahead and Traverse right now, go get a Swamp, jam another Tarmogoyf, and then we're in a strong position with Abrupt Decay or Lily as needed going into the following turn. The best thing you can do against them is put a clock on. You know, they can turn 4, but they got to have some pretty specific types of draws to do so. And this does not look to be like the most explosive Ad Nauseum hand. Now we can uptick discarding Liliana, which is going to give us, yeah, Phyrexian on life's fine. So we're going to actually get to destroy that. That's going to turn our Tarmogoyfs into 5/6s. It's a beautiful thing. The question we kind of have here is, you know, we're going to put our opponent down to 11. Yeah, so blowing up the Phyrexian Life puts our opponent on a 2-turn clock. And on the defensive, in terms of having lost the Unlife, they're not going to be able to cast Unlife and Ad Nauseum again. You know, we could try and Liliana and like wait a turn, but if they have it, we're just done. We could wait for them to try and go off. If they go off and then we blow up their Phyrexian Unlife and they're at negative life, they lose. They have exactly 5 mana. I'm kind of in the mood to like get risky and see if they go for it and then just abrupt decay the Phyrexian Unlife once they put themselves to a negative life total. I mean, they could also just go off while the abrupt decay is on the stack if we wait until the next turn. So it's possible we just get no other real good chance. So I think we just go for it right now. And then Liliana again puts us into position to potentially have lethal next turn. We already potentially have lethal next turn. Draw Collective Brutality, we have a good chance at. If they were to try and go for like Laboratory Maniac, we do have a Path to Exile as well. It is positive that they have to spoils here. So they're naming Ad Nauseum. And how much life did they lose? Too much. Okay. So we've kind of put them in a pinch by playing on the Phyrexian Life. By blowing that up, they only had a chance to win if they hit a land and probably a, I want to say Faith's Reward, and that's not the right, whatever their 1 mana white spell is. And so, you know, they could have played that and gone off that turn if they drew all of their Simian Spirit Guides, which I'm sure they would. Yeah, they would have in that scenario. So, anyway, they had to go for it. That was their only chance, and therefore they lost. Hooray! We didn't get blanked. I hope you are as happy about that as I am. So 1-0, got our first win of the night. I think that's technically a turn 4 win because they did kill themselves. So we'll be on the draw. We expect Leyline of the Void. We want to bring in Gaddock Teague. We want to bring in Surgicals. They're going to have not Leyline of the Void, but Leyline of Sanctity. And this is a maybe. Definitely want Reclamation Sage. Definitely want Maelstrom Pulse. So they're going to have Leyline of Sanctity. And so despite that, we are going to bring in as much hand disruption as we can because they can't, you know, just mulligan down to, you know, 4 cards or 3 cards to get a Leyline. If they have a good enough hand to go for it, they have to just kind of keep that hand. You know, they can mulligan down to a Leyline, but if they do, we still just might beat them and they may have a weaker hand because of it. So we're kind of good with that. We don't need paths at all. Laboratory Maniac we have handled. We definitely want Abrupt Decay, want Lilies. And to some extent, Kalitas is maybe a little slow. I'd rather have Kataki to try and put some pressure on their artifacts. I'm okay with some Lingering Souls. I don't know that we need them all. doing? Come on, get there. Ooh. So really, I just don't really need that many fatal pushes. We don't want to pull everything. In fact, it's probably better to keep a path than a fatal push, and it's too late because I ran out of time. But sometimes they bring in like Dragonlord Dramoka or Grave Titan out of the sideboard. This is an interesting hand. The opponent mulliganed to 6 already. I mean, this doesn't really do a whole lot, but it does make them have to pay for artifacts, which could slow them down. Plus, we could always draw something good. Surgical Extraction doesn't do a whole lot without. I mean, I want to say that this is not good enough. But it's also, the one positive it does have is it's not dead to a ley line. I actually think I'm going to keep this. Again, I think this is a very, very marginal keep. Very edge of acceptable. Probably not even acceptable. But again, you just got to keep in mind that the opponent is very likely mulliganing to ley line. And so, you know, you don't always want to be stuck with a hand full of disruption. A handful of hand disruption, that is. Plus, if our opponent somehow discards a Simian Spirit Guide to cast something, we can surgically extract all their Simian Spirit Guides, which can sometimes get you there. Okay, so that's unfortunate. We are going to just traverse here. We want to try and lead towards future Delirium at least, thin our deck out some. And we're getting proper punished here for keeping a marginal hand. Opponent hasn't hit any black mana, but they're probably planning on that Lotus carrying the day for them. And then we get our one fatal push too. Oh, this is brutal. I probably shouldn't have kept this. So opponent's going to cast the Lotus Bloom here, and they could just beat us right here. I mean, they absolutely have the potential to just sink this, cast a, I'm going to call it Face Reward, which is not the right card. They put 2 cards on the bottom. We could surgically extract their Serum Visions here. They don't, yeah, they didn't play a land. I think we actually surgically extract that there. We counteract the digging they did and reduce their chances of digging further the rest of the game. Angel's Grace. You can't lose the game this turn, and your opponents can't win the game this turn. Until the end of turn, damage it receive. Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe they have a Simian Spirit Guide and they're just going for the win. So the opponent's just going through the process of drawing their deck. Now they're going to use a Simian Spirit Guide. They're going to throw Lightning Storm at me. Always let your ad nauseum opponent go through the motion, prove that they have the combo. Now they're going through the process of adding lands. Ideally they'll add a bunch of lands and then we can add some lands to redirect it back to them. So we technically can take this damage and throw it back at them by using our own swamps. So they're going to have to do at least, what is it? X is 3 plus the number of charge counters. So it would be a mistake for them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So they can do 21 points of damage to us here. They should stop here, but if they keep adding them, we let them keep doing it. And then we'll discard a land and point it back to them. So it's now targeting the opponent. So the opponent's now going to throw another one at me. Don't think the opponent realizes this, maybe? Yeah, so they're just letting these lands go at themselves. This is a mistake. They're going to run out of lands this way because we can redo this. If they let all these lands go down, they're going to have to build up their lands again. They're actually causing themselves to lose. As an ad nauseum player, you cannot let this happen. The opponent has 39 cards in hand. They almost certainly have more lands in their hand that they could use to redirect it back to us. By the time they realize what's happening, they're going to have to recast a bunch of lands, and then we can redirect it again. What happened? So they must have redirected one back and I didn't catch it. So then, that's frustrating. So I could have pointed them all back. I thought I had... Where did they redirect it back? Oh, at the very end they changed it back and I missed it somehow. What a bummer. What a bummer. I had 2 more lands. I guess it doesn't really matter because all that's happening is you're adding counters and then it's just the redirection, so maybe I misunderstood that to some extent. Let's reread that. Make this a learning experience. So Lightning Storm deals X damage to target creature or player where X is 3 plus the number of charge counters on it. Discard a land card, put 2 charge counters on Lightning Storm. You may choose a new target for it, but any player may activate this ability, but only if Lightning Storm is on the stack. So I guess what we should have done is let all the storm counters go down. So they actually were probably playing it right, and I misunderstood. I was thinking it kind of acted like Storm, where each of the 3 were going to do some damage to us. So my mistake. Sorry for getting all riled up. So again, that was not a good keep. And that was turn 4 as well. 2 turn 4s and one of them is a win for us. Don't know. Do we really want... I'm going to bring in a path here. Again, kind of for the same thing we talked about before. Alright, so this is a good hand. Grimflayer is a good beatdown. If they don't have a ley line, Thoughtseize is phenomenal. Kataki works to this as well. Easy keep. Opponent kept as well, so here comes the ley line. So since we're not going to cast Thoughtseize, we just jam the Treetop Village. Next turn it'll be Grimflayer. If we pull a Reclamation Sage to blow up the ley line, we want to hold on to the Thoughtseize for now. And Grimflayer is our biggest threat on board, and so that's why we're going to cast it first. I think we will lead Kataki next. We could also attack with Treetop Village there. We might actually consider Thoughtseizing our own Path to Exile away here. Oh, we can go get... Yeah, so we can absolutely pitch Scavenging Ooze here. I mean, I guess we just... Yeah, so the question is whether or not we want to try and wait to draw the Traverse. Because if we can Traverse, we can get Rex Sage. But that would require us to have a sorcery instant in the graveyard, which means we're not going to have the Traverse. So I think we actually just pitch the plains here. Leave Traverse on top. And then we can plan to draw the Traverse, Thoughtseize, maybe Thoughtseize Path. I guess we could consider pathing our own. So we still got to cast the Thoughtseize though. So we can, at this point it's the unlife that's the threat, so I think we Thoughtseize the Path. use Traverse to go get Reclamation Sage. I mean, I suppose we could get Gaddock Teague. We could cast Gaddock Teague right now, and then the opponent cannot cast Ad Nauseum. So that actually seems a stronger play, part of why we bring it in. This puts our opponent on a 2-turn clock. We can toss the Catacombs and the Bauble. Surgical Extraction seems good to keep on top. So since Ad Nauseum costs 5 mana, Gaddock Teague kind of shuts that down until they can find a way to deal with Gaddock Teague. Four, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We could do 11 damage to our opponent here if we fire up the Treetop Village. I think we're just going to start by attacking without Treetop Village. It's not going to make a difference in us getting the Phyrexian. Okay, that's fine. We eat the Scavenging Ooze, we still, or eat with the Scavenging Ooze, yeah. Gets a little more power on board. So at this point, we definitely would rather play Liliana over the Surgical Extraction. We can't uptick and then cause the opponent to discard a card and surgically extract it, so we're probably just going to have to fire off surgical extraction now. Opponent has 2 Ad Nauseums, a Simian Spirit Guide, City of Brass. Looking at their sideboard, Definitely had some more ethereal hazes that may have been the better play. Yeah, they basically need Echoing Truth. I think that's their only live draw. Yeah, they need Echoing Truth. So what we're going to do is instead of casting Liliana here, do we just start attacking? We have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We can actually get underneath the Phyrexian on life this turn and threaten lethal the following turn. They don't have a way to cast the Simian Spirit Guide. So I think that's what we're going to do here. We can always cast Liliana next turn. Even if they cast Echoing Truth, they're not going to be able to cast Ad Nauseum as well. So we're just going to give some food for the Scoozy. Probably could have kept that flats on top. I mean, I kind of know I'm already in a spot where I've got this game won almost definitively, but still didn't need to. Probably we could have actually cast Liliana and still had the ability to eat a couple creatures with Scavenging Ooze next turn. Yep, and the opponent can just concedes there. So we did get the win on that one. So we did get a match win tonight. Let's try and get it to 2. Sorry for all of you who are rooting for me to go 0-4, 0-8. Maybe next time. If you want to watch the next match in the league, got the link on the left. In the center you have a link to subscribe, and on the right there is a link to more Abzan Traverse Magic. Enjoy. See you soon.